we're gonna do week 12, folks. Week 12 of the NFL 2025 season picks. Um, this is gonna be an interesting week, folks. If you guys are keeping up with your teams and what's happening around the league, you'll know that we are definitely starting to see teams be eliminated and mathematically be out of the equation, which Alex will talk a little bit about before we jump right into our picks. So, Alex, let's go down this path of who you believe mathematically is officially no chance to making it into the playoffs from
Well,
here on out.
we got competition out back we can we know and the about new the we we both can't eat but it's can't um yeah both of our teams this week is to our four it's gonna be the the top five the top five maybe a pair for the but like a team that really put look out of
Okay,
the
so wait,
playoff.
let me just go through the standings for
Yeah,
folks. So right
yeah,
now, I'm going to do
you,
the AFC. So this
you
will
go
tell
ahead.
you who we know is mathematically it's going to be not only just impossible for some, but it's going to be a really uphill battle for some that are kind of borderline close, depending on what happens today in their games if they're playing today, if they don't have a bye. So let's start with the AFC East, which you have the Patriots leading the division at 9-2. You got the Bills at 7-4. So obviously those two teams are safe. The Dolphins are 4-7. The chances of them making it is extremely slim of making it into the playoffs. The Jets, you can say, is officially out, sitting at 2-8. Um, Now let's go to the north of the AFC. You got the Steelers sitting at 6-4 because they're leading the division by one game over the Ravens. Technically, they're safe. The Ravens are 5-5. If they win today, if they're playing today, they can resurrect and keep their hopes alive. If they lose, it just becomes more of an uphill battle for them, sitting at number two in the division. The Bengals are 3-7. They're technically out. So although I believe Burris is back, and is that correct?
Yeah, but it's correct.
Okay, so he's back, and then
But
you have the
no
Browns.
point.
Well, I'm sorry, the Bengals are sitting at 3-7. I want to say they're mathematically out, and then you have the Browns at 2-8, who is also mathematically out. Let's go to the South now. The South on the AFC side, you have the Indianapolis Colts sitting at 8-2. You have the Jaguars sitting at 6-4. You have the Texans sitting at 6-5, who I kind of want to say they kind of saved their chance of possibly sneaking into the playoffs by beating the Bills Thursday night. And then you got the Titans at 1-9, that will make them completely eliminated. And I believe the worst team right now in the NFL. Even though the Jets had an extremely long, slow start, but as you can see, they got more wins than them. And then you have out west, you got the Broncos also sitting at 9-2 at the top of their division. The Chargers sitting at 7-4. So that means those two teams are definitely safe and playoff bound. And you got the Chiefs sitting at 5-5. So just like the Ravens, depending on what happens with them moving forward, they could be mathematically eliminated if they lose any more games from here on out. And then you have the Raiders sitting at 2-8 on the AFC side at the bottom of the list. They would be mathematically out. Now we're just gonna take a look at the NFC side. NFC side, you have the Eagles sitting at 8-2 at the top of their division. Second to them in the division would be the Cowboys sitting at 4-5-1. Now that tie actually hurts the Cowboys big time because they're sitting at only 4 wins. I want to say they're already mathematically eliminated, but as the press says, if they lose today, they would be mathematically eliminated. I think the tie hurts them because only them and the Packers are the only two teams that have a tie. And this really messes up the numbers of where people go, and this, that, and the other when it comes to the playoffs. So I want to eliminate them already, even before they play your Philadelphia Eagles. which they have a matchup today. You got the Commanders sitting in third place in the division at 3-8. I want to say they're also mathematically eliminated. And then the New York Giants sitting at 2-9, definitely eliminated. Um, you got the Bears up north leading their division. Big surprise, uh, sitting at 7-3. And you got the Green Bay Packers sitting at 6-3, and one in the second place in the division. And it's due to that tie is what actually got them slightly ahead of Detroit. And you have the Detroit Lions who are sitting at 6-4 in the division in third place, and then the Vikings sitting at 4-6. They're at the bottom of the list in that division. I want to say their chances for the playoffs are extremely slim. I don't believe they will have a chance to get there. Then you let's head south. We got the Bucks sitting at 6-4. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers at 6-5, number two in their division. You got the Atlanta Falcons sitting at 3-7. I want to say it's over for those guys. And then you have the New Orleans Saints sitting at 2-8 at the bottom of the list. They're definitely eliminated. And then finally, out west, you have the Rams. LA Rams are sitting at 8-2. And then you have the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 7-3 in second place in their division. And then the San Francisco 49ers sitting at 7-4 in their division in third place. And at the very bottom of the division is the Cardinals at 3-7, who is mathematically eliminated. So as we can see, we got teams that are definitely playoff bound. Some divisions you got three teams in their divisions, which look like as if they're definitely um, heading in that path of going to the playoffs. The teams that are kind of in those gray areas, there's just too much that has to happen to give them a chance to get there. Sadly, so I'm sorry for those fans if that was one of your team, and I know you probably still had hope, but let's let's just be realistic on truth here. And I know they say the Cowboys must win today, but to be honest with you, the games with the Philadelphia Eagles has always been a kind of up and down seesaw throughout the game, and then eventually victorious is the Philadelphia Eagles lately when it comes to the Cowboys. So um, I don't see that happening. I think the Eagles are starting to pick up pace as they're 8-2, and the Rams, who are sitting right there with them at 8-2. And keep in mind, Philadelphia beat the Rams earlier this year. So technically, Philadelphia is not only just the reigning defending champions right now, they are leading the NFC uh, conference. They're the leading team right now. So they took care of the Lions last week, which was a big contender. Um, they play the Bears next Friday for Black Friday, folks. And if they handle the Bears, it is what it is. They're going to be on another path to the Super Bowl because these are all teams that are contenders. And I don't know another team in the NFC on the NFC side that's going to be a real threat.
Okay, okay. No, so let's talk about the injury report now. And we got to talk. We got to talk about injury report. Um, for Emma, and he's gonna be out for the game. Um, after that week game, uh, he got hurt. The week he got out. So he's talking about a quarterback who not that uh try to try to help um Pittsburgh win today. Well,
Mm.
back in the quarterback problem.
With the Jets.
No, not to get the new got a quarterback problem. He he will be out for today. Um, but he got be out for today.
Yes, he's still under the
Yeah,
protocol of the concussion protocol. So yeah, he's not there. And staying in New York, as people, if you don't know, Justin Fields will not be starting for the Jets. It would be,
yeah.
uh,
Tom,
I believe, All right, which will be
From
starting for the Jets
from
today.
a new quarterback. And from a new quarterback.
Yes, New York Giant quarterback.
Yeah. Uh,
You know, it's funny. They're all New York teams:
yeah.
Bills, Giants,
Yeah.
and Jets. So he never left the area.
No.
He just moved to different organizations. Okay, go ahead. Who
Uh,
else?
we also ha, ha, we we have a big content deal over a where me or the development a 3-year fishing for the middle their team. So yeah, yeah, welcome to we got a report and we have a we what I contact before the put that yes for command. Also also before we got you at the game page for the we will talk about that about in the NBA before Chris Paul he is talking out triple ear. Can I him he he play he play for at the ear and not we got ready.
Okay, so um, so let's get into our picks. We got some pretty important games this week because, again, as we told you, this is now week 12, and some teams are going to probably be eliminated today and be out of that mathematical equation of making it to the playoffs. So let's just look at this. You got the Jets and Ravens playing. If the Jets, their defense has played pretty decently, and they've been in most of their games, even though they've lost a lot of games, they've been in those games. If somehow, some way, they decide to defeat the Ravens, which is a possibility, that matchup won't go in favor for them because then they both will be eliminated from playoffs. Then we have Colts Chiefs, which I think this is going to be the game of the week right here. So I know we got that segment after we make our picks, Alex, but Colts and Chiefs, I'm just going to let you know the Colts have played against the Chiefs 18 times and I'm sorry, more than 18 times, but have won 18 out of 10. The Chiefs are won 10 of their matchups, and the Colts have won 18 times against the Chiefs. So that's over. That's a history right there between those two teams. They have crossed paths many times, both in the playoffs as well during regular season. Um, what do you got for the Jets and Ravens game?
The game go into a get the bottom have problem. Get remote it back. He put good week. It's a hard one. Make the nut egg and turn the out. I thought goodbye. I believe so. I believe it's a bottom over the by 3 points.
I think Baltimore will find a path to win against the Jets. I think they'll get it done with Henry. I think the way to take on a strong defense is to wear it down with the run game. And I think the Ravens pull this off and become 6-5 today. How about Colts and Chief? This is a pretty big matchup. Chiefs are fighting for their life, and the Colts is looking to keep path with the Denver Broncos and the Patriots and try to make it to 9-2.
And yeah, coming out of the back, coming out of the back, it's gonna be a big question. If if the come will continue on in the team right now or right now, can't it have probably not be over the ball, can't see it and the ball on the go. That's the old time, but the ball can't figure it good. So the ball can win that week. That help that help the Broncos. So this game is a big game for Kansas City and the Colts. Can the Colts win
In Kansas City,
in
because
Kansas
they
City?
are playing in Arrowhead.
This is a big part. I believe it's gonna be Kansas City. I believe Kansas City will get the win over in Kansas City.
I want to go with the Colts because they have also proven, just like your team, they've taken on some of the toughest teams in the AFC, and they have defeated them. Um, they only got 2 losses right now, and they seem to have the ingredients to take on these top teams in the AFC. But something tells me the dog is going to come out of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs today, and they're going to, because they're fighting for their lives. And I don't think he's not made the playoffs since he started playing like on this streak and going to the playoffs and going to the Super Bowl. This would be the first time that they will be officially eliminated if they lose today. So I expect to see him coming out with all guns blazing here. And I hate to use that statement uh, to rope up the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm gonna also pick the Chiefs here to try to pull off a victory in today's matchup. Um, Vikings Packers. Who do you have?
Yeah, I know a team that that if it can pack it, okay, the bit and take it off. It can be a big support team. This is right now. That's how it recruit is the code. Yeah, I know the code had problem here, but the bear had a big problem here. We all know, we all know about the head code problem over that even here. So this team, right now, is the most important team this year so far. Head down. So this team, just to think about it, is a big game for the Packers. I believe it's gonna be Gluttony. I believe Gluttony will come out and get it up there over the Packers and make it a for the Packers.
I'm gonna go with the Packers here. So I love your explanation of this matchup, and it is a division rival, folks. So these two teams know each other really well. I think the Packers get it done to keep their playoff hopes alive. Um, we got coming up now the Giants and the Lions playing. And thank you, folks, for everyone that's attending the live.
Yeah,
And I see your comments at the bottom. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Giants, Lions, Alex, who you got?
well, the team has Packers this year.
Wait, wait. No, there's one team that has a problem.
Yeah, well, this team,
Unfortunately, there's one team that has a problem right
well,
now.
this team that has Packers that is out. What I told the GM, I don't know how to, but if if Detroit can't get the win, the, they got back. They got back to allow to take a bill at the Packer game. No, that go back to the bill. Number one,
Commanders.
number
Yeah.
one, and that if if Detroit can't get the win, we got a problem in Detroit.
Yeah, I think Detroit gets it done. They played a really good game against you guys.
I but
And the
I believe
Giants, go ahead.
I believe that they will get it because they're not play foot that good football. God, I don't know what happened.
Well, yeah, he had a lot of incompletes there, but I'm saying, look, they went against the defending champions and
They
they
not
they
foot.
were in the game. They still had a chance to win.
No, they go for a foot down multiple times each each time. Each time the Eagles are able to put that. That team at Detroit, I don't know what it he's thinking, but the head coach that I know in Detroit. I believe it's gonna be hot down if 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 the Knicks can put on. I think that game is gonna be hot down. I believe it's gonna be the New York Eight. I believe New York that we get the win over Detroit.
I'm gonna go with Detroit Lions. I think they get it done against the Giants. The Giants just has too much going on internally. Besides the injuries and everything that's happening there, the loss of their coach. I do expect for them to come out and play, but I'm just not feeling like these guys are going to be that much trouble for the Detroit Lions. And there is a lot of history between those two franchises that goes way, way back before the NFL even started.
So the team
Um,
almost open,
so
almost the open rifle in the top league. Now it's the Bears and the Packers is the more rifle.
okay, you got Steelers and Bears also playing at one. Who you got in that matchup?
Yeah. When I got the Pittsburgh, I believe it's gonna be a bit. I believe the Bears will get the win over the Pittsburgh. Actually, after the game, it's gonna be really a blowout.
I don't know about a blowout. I do expect. Look, if they lose and the Ravens wins, guess what? Boom! You got this
Yeah,
heavy matchup in that division between the Steelers and Ravens. After the Ravens having such a ridiculous rough start,
and
now you have
remember,
this matchup between these two teams, and this would be a big blockbuster for Week 13. If the Steelers lose today and the Ravens beat the Jets, you got a
remember,
blockbuster matchup between those two teams. So I
remember,
like it. I agree. I think the Steelers might fall to the Bears. This is what the
remember,
NFL is all about. So,
remember, remember, my top, hey, look at it online, too.
so
That's a
yeah.
fact.
So
He lives a lot, and so that online, too.
yeah. But look, it doesn't mean the Steelers will
Yeah,
be eliminated from the playoffs.
no,
It just means that
no,
for the division,
yeah,
they would be really crashing right now.
yeah,
This would be off the charts, an
yeah,
exciting game right there. If the cards fall the way they fall.
yeah,
If the Steelers hold on and win today, then they're really showing that they belong at the top of the division.
yeah.
But if this matchup ends up happening, this would be great. Um, okay. Patriots, Bengals.
Oh, boy,
He says, "Oh boy."
yeah, 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 some told me that if it can make a cut out thing or and we forgot what put that he got me out for the back come up even he he out he to put this don't know how many games but he out of the game so I believe it gonna be the Patriots.
The Patriots with the win to keep their winning streak going, go 10-2 this week. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna go with the Bengals here and see if somehow they can create magic and get an upset here. This would, if anybody wink wink is gambling, I might go ahead with the Bengals here because this is how Las Vegas and the NFL works, right? This is supposed to be the impossible. Because everybody sees the Patriots record and they're everyone's gonna be expecting the Patriots to beat up on the Bengals here. This would be one of those trap games where uh Bengals might get that upset. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. Um Seahawks and Titans here. This is another one of those trap games. Obviously, we just talked about it. Titans are 1-9 right now this season, and you got the Seahawks, which are playoff bound. Um, Who do you got?
Really good if you are a Rams fan, you hope they for Kentucky to get it up there. I don't think they're gonna be happening. I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a put out over the top end. So give me the Seahawks over the top end.
Yeah, logic says go with the Seattle Seahawks here, but again, if I'm a wink wink on one of those apps, you might want to maybe put some direction towards the Titans. I'll just put it that way. Okay. 4 o'clock games, 4:05, Jags, Cardinals.
This game of each one, and it definitely and if the court room the the three teams that the court that before I pick who is Jacksonville and the court are all gonna be bunch of together. That will make it easier and okay. That will make it easier and to see if I got L okay. That 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 what I want. Can we those three teams easier and he fight who gonna be number one. That's number one. Um I believe it gonna be Jacksonville. I believe Jacksonville will get the win over.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I think the Cardinals somehow pull one over on the Big Cats there and get a victory. The Jags have been kind of, they started off really strong this year, and then it ever seems like when What's His Face got injured, uh, the team has kind of been not necessarily consistent. And so we know that the Cardinals have their own problems of their own. This is why their record it shows that reflects it. But something tells me Cardinals probably will squeak out a win. Um, Something along the line, maybe 13-9 or something like that. I kind of see not even really a high scoring game between those two. Okay, next up is the Browns and Raiders. And we know this is, of course, first start for the Browns finally, even though, yes, he came in last week. Um, some people criticized him and said he didn't play well, but when we look at footage, he delivered the ball each and every single time to the
Oh,
wide receivers. They did a lot of dropping. They dropped a lot of those balls. If they did not, including the last one in the end zone, which would have won the game for the Browns, um, it would be a whole different message coming out of the press. But let's see what he can do against Tom Brady, your boy Geno Smith, and Pete Carroll out, playing against the Raiders. So who do you have?
yeah, yeah. Both the teams will probably make the playoff. Not in the result is all good in the bottom of the where the Browns are looking for removing the head coach. Probably that's what I want to see for the Browns.
I know you've been pushing for that man to get out,
I,
before the season started. Okay, go ahead.
I believe that is the point because a long time ago that year. So I believe it's gonna be the Browns. I believe the
Okay.
Browns will get the win and move on.
So yeah, I see we got fans here, Browns fans
Yeah,
saying go Browns, go Browns. So
yeah.
yeah, I think the Browns will get this victory over the Raiders. Um, and then we got your matchup, which is the Philadelphia Eagles 425 versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this has really not been the kind of matchup it has in the past between these two teams. As we know, the Cowboys have had their troubles. Um, Obviously, I expect for you to pick your team. I'm going to also go with the Eagles here because I think the Eagles have their focus shift on something totally different right now, which is getting back into the playoffs. Maybe this home field advantage hunt, I think, is really important to them where they can rest and be prepared. to defend their title.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I see that comment.
Okay. Okay. Before we put that team, I got really what good with the put I got you the I don't think the way I can put yeah. But that in that game, the Eagle and Cat like that game, I believe that game it got be a incredible game for the Eagle. I believe the Eagle will get the win. Over the Cat, I believe the Cat will have nothing to do with the year put up win.
Okay. I'm just going with the Eagles here at this point. I think this will be the dagger in the Cowboys. Um, we got Falcons Saints coming up at also 425. Division rival between those two teams. Yes, both those teams are struggling. So you got the Birds or the Saints?
Yeah, yeah, both the team is up now. They both are going to make a put off. Remember, they're out already. I believe it got me my former off the court. Will get the win.
Yeah, you know what? I think also I think the Saints will get this victory over uh, the Falcons here. Now you have another primetime matchup, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Rams. Now we obviously know both these teams are playoff bound, and so this is going to be a very important matchup because these teams are obviously going to see each other again in the playoffs, maybe. Um, Depending on how they all get laid out and what placing and how well they play. So this is a primetime game. I know some people would say this is game of the week between these two. Who you got?
Well, both the team are really good to get into put up win. I believe. mm, I believe in Tampa Bay for the I believe Baker Mayfield uh remember Baker Mayfield a former one people don't forget that I believe Baker Mayfield will get the advantage of his former team at well.
I'm going to go with the Rams here. The Rams are focused. Stafford is focused. I believe they also have a different thought process, and they haven't forgotten what you guys did to them with the block field goals and stuff. And I think they're looking forward to a rematch with you guys. And these guys are playing. They're playing, so they're coming to play. Nothing against the Bucks and them out there. The Bucks need this win. They need this win to really solidify and get some space between them and the Panthers. Um, but I'm thinking that if the Bucks lose this game and the Panthers win their game on Monday, then against the 49ers, and guess what? Now you got another blockbuster matchup next week for week 13 between these two teams. I don't know if they're going to play each other next week, but I'm saying like that division will now be very competitive as well. But I'm just going to pick the Rams just because I think the Rams right now are super focused. I think they have a goal in mind, and that's to see you guys again because I think those two block field goals and that comeback you guys had against them, I think it got underneath their skin. I think that's it. So you guys got a big bullseye on you, your Philadelphia Eagles, um, from that game. So Monday Night Football, you have the Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers, 8:15 prime time.
Yeah, yeah. The football and the people the league. Canada about about the I believe it gonna be the Carolina Panthers. I believe Carolina Panthers will get it win. I really want that guitar to get away from the bottom of the ear. And, and yeah, I believe Carolina will get it win on Monday Night Football tomorrow night.
I am going to agree, not because of that. I'm going to agree because when the Carolina Panthers came into the league and they were put into the NFC West, they were a pain in the butt for the 49ers consistently, season after season after season, before they realigned the NFL division. So I'm just going to say the Carolina Panthers will continue that trouble for the 49ers. And as you know, I've been picking against the 49ers except for twice this year. Uh, and I'm going to continue that trend. I think the Panthers get that victory tomorrow night.
Okay, we know more.
Okay. Now, listen up, folks. Here it is. We got on the big turkey day. You got three games that are happening on
Weekend,
the big turkey day, and that is Packers Lions.
of course.
Okay, division rival. As we know, anybody's ever watched Thanksgiving football, the Lions don't typically play well on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. It is what it is. So you have them. That's a 1 o'clock game, and they always play the early game.
no, it's
Um,
4 o'clock.
and then, huh?
It's 4 o'clock.
Oh, it says, I'm sorry, it says one here on mine, but okay,
Uh,
12 o'clock game.
oh, whatever. What?
And then you have the Chiefs and Cowboys, which is the second game of the day. I suspect the Chiefs are going to come there to try to hammer them because again they're fighting for their playoff lives. And if the Cowboys lose today, they ain't got much to play for after that, except for try to disrupt and prevent other teams from getting there. And that's at 4:30. And then the primetime game is Ravens Bengals, which is a division rival between those two at 8:20. And then we'll have a first Friday game.
No, it's okay.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. Yeah, second Friday game, which is Bears Eagles on Black Friday, and that's a 3 o'clock game. That's weird. It is at 3 o'clock, but 3 o'clock game matchup for week 13. So we like to take care of our Thursday night games beforehand because it's kind of hard to prepare for filming. And yes, yeah, Thanksgiving, but whatever, all the cooking and family coming over. So we're gonna do this now. So who you got? Packers Lions.
Well, I believe it could be. But I believe it could be the Packers. I believe the Packers will get the win on Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I think this is a really important game for the Lions' life because if they don't win this game and the Packers do win, guess what happens? They're gonna fall further down in their division. So I think they're gonna try to hold on, especially if somehow magically the New York Giants get another victory and pull that off today. The Lions is definitely gonna be fighting for their life next Thursday. Chiefs Cowboys.
Yeah, yeah, I don't believe for Kansas. It don't win today. I said that is I said that is for Kansas. Not we flip the game. Um, if the Cowboys don't win today, the probably out next week. Also, I believe it's gonna be Kansas. I believe Kansas will get the win off that game.
So yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs here over the Cowboys. And then prime time, who do you got for Bengals Ravens?
Well, if Bowman wins today and, and, and pick the lose today, this will get England. This will get England
This
and
would get
live.
interesting. Yes, that's right. You're correct.
So if Bowman wins today and pick the lose today, that I'll pick it all for Baltimore and hot dog. After that, but it's hard to see that I believe so too. I believe it's gonna be Baltimore or look at that though. All that music game.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Bengals for Thursday night primetime game. So I'm picking them back to back weeks. Somehow coming up with these victories. I think they disrupt everything with the with the Ravens by getting that victory. And I think it's not even just going to be just a crazy primetime game. Somehow, something's going to tell me there's going to be an on-field fight, a brawl happening between these two teams, as there always is. And then, of course, Friday is your matchup against the Bears. Um, Obviously, you're an Eagles fan, so you're going to pick your Eagles. And
Yeah,
man, this is gonna be a hard matchup. I don't know. Don't crucify me, but I'm gonna pick the Bears here.
yeah, yeah. You need to be the eagle. I make the eagle would get the but I'm not surprised if an 8-bit we got name or by top that cover all the hot the game
Yes.
cover up all that is by that cover all the hot the game and now a time for get up the week
For week
that I
12.
for ritual happen is
For me, it's the Chiefs Colts game. That game I think is gonna be a blockbuster game. Between those two that match up with those two teams. Okay, so who you got?
well I believe it got this cannot it something that game when the the over only the full good ticket yeah begging me for math of that
Okay. All right. So that takes care of week 12. But for the holiday games, which is going to be your game of the holiday?
get on the holiday we have four games we play at the point kept it in at the top one and four more
Crazy.
the bill
Uh-huh.
so
Yep.
this something for me it probably be the company and accept the game because normally the company only wins that game normally. So I believe it's gonna be the company and they have a ill.
I'm going to pick the Bears Eagles games because that's a playoff game right then and there before the playoffs even start. If the Eagles come out and defend and they defeat the Bears, that means they have taken on the most top teams in the NFC in their conference and would have won against them. And then you know what the playoff bound means when they do get into playoffs, because these teams have a possibility of that matchup of of seeing each other again. There's a good chance that that's gonna like this. These teams aren't gonna forget. Like I told you, I know the Rams are set. They're trying their best to either stay ahead of you, get home field advantage. Because remember, you guys beat them when it snowed
Yeah,
right last year. So they want that home field advantage and they want to be the number one seed. To me, that doesn't matter. I don't care. Today's football is so different than it was years ago. So but I think this is gonna be the game of the holiday is the Bears Eagles because the Eagles know that the Bears are coming in head hunting to try to take them down. And I think the Eagles are going to try to stay fast to what they believe in. But I think somehow the Bears, with their unpredictable chaos, that they got that same Detroit aura of being unpredictable. Like each week, they don't match up with the same kind of programming. They change depending on their environment. And even though, yeah, they didn't play that well against the New York Giants. Um, but they still squeaked out a win at the end. But that was the Giants, which was already a team that already had some internal issues. But something just tells me this matchup is going to be a little bit different.
I,
So,
that the that cover for that game the game from the game yeah from the game but they avenue and even game, but we forgot to cover the game. That game, that
Oh,
game,
the Bills and the Texans.
that game is incredible for me. I believe that game, they play so good that game. Okay, I never told me about the Bills and how do how this that team. But I believe the Bills are also the night so want to beat there.
Yeah, they. You know, I told you because I watched the game. The thing that bothered me with that matchup, you know, the Texans came to play and they were home, um, and they knew that their playoff lives were on the line there. The Bills came in with more of, you know, like a gunslinging type behavior. They showed potential where they can literally score in seconds if they wanted to at will, but then they were sloppy elsewhere in their gameplay. So I agree. I don't think they really wanted to be there in Houston for that matchup. It was almost like they were disinterested in playing the matchup, as if they kind of viewed Texans of not being at their same caliber, which I believe is why they ended up failing and not winning that game. Because the mindset wasn't, let's go in here, lights out. We need to be, you know, at a different level, this, that, and the other. We didn't see that. And I'm believing now that the Bills are playing like that. They're playing according to the talent that they go against. They're, instead of just being consistent and being who they were, then I feel like now if the talent is here, they're gonna play here. If the talent is here, they're gonna play here instead of just playing here all the time. And so that's what I kind of seen in that Thursday night football.
Uh,
Kudos to the Texans. They got the victory. They're 6-5. The Bills went down in numbers, and so um, we'll see what happens.
and uh, don't forget we go on TikTok. It got their name, the time, the we also move up. We got Instagram.
Yes, our Instagram channel. Yep.
I put the name, the time, and uh, this the week it got be a week. It all is the week. The week. The week. It's gonna be really interesting on Black Hot Day. I can't wait to watch that game on Black Hot Day.
Yes. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. So we're gonna wrap it up here. We'll see you guys next week for week 13. Yes, I can't believe this season is starting to wind down. We're gonna see some super action for this football season, this 2025 football season for the NFL. So we thank our viewers for, you know, for tuning in and enjoying the live with us. Go get some popcorn, get tailgating, some grills, some burgers and dogs on the grill or pizza, whatever it is. Enjoy today's NFL and
And, and
happy
remember,
holidays. We'll definitely
happy
see you
holiday.
guys next week.
Yeah.
So thank you.